So,
for me, I think that looking at how the system, how it's ended up for me, it's not so. It's made me so unconfident. My repression of these incidences where I've had like blatant racism as a kid had caused me, I think, and to see, I think it's caused me to be unconfident growing up. Like it's made me so I saw this incident so there was this time when I was a kid when this woman was blatantly so racist to me in the supermarket. I must have been like 5 years old. And this old lady, this white lady came up to me and called me a monkey. And at that time, my mum went postal on this woman. And I was so embarrassed, not being called a monkey, but of my mum. I was so afraid that somebody would attack my mum for having attacked this white woman. I didn't realize it was racism at that time. But I was just so fearful of somebody attacking my mum for the way that she had outburst on this woman that my whole life, this is the trauma I'm talking about. This is me examining why I am the way I am today and why I'm so conflict averse and why I'm always constantly checking on my mum and making sure that my mum doesn't, do certain things and say certain things. Because it goes back to this childhood where this incident where somebody was so racist to me. And my mum responded in a way that it informed all of the way that I've responded to anyone, especially white people. And I realize now that it all started from that. That's why I'm constantly, we can't. I don't want to rock the boat, or I don't. I try and think up. As a kid, I'd think up scenarios so that my mum wouldn't get pissed in public. And I didn't realize where it was from, but now examining everything, it's from that time when this woman called me a monkey. So weird. This is the microaggression that has, this is the product of, this is racism. And this is how it's affected a 41-year-old at this point where I'm just realizing, holy shit, the reason why I'm so unconfident. And I've had to learn to become more confident. I've had to, I've really had to try and, really work on that. And why I've never really pushed myself in social settings, never pushed myself amongst my peers, my white peers, because I'm, in the back of my mind, I've got this voice in the back of my mind, this incident reminding me, can't rock the boat. I don't want to be, I don't want to cause too much. I don't want to cause too much of a scene. I don't want anyone to, to look at us differently. Yeah. It's from that.
I think I mentioned last week because you weren't with us, and I was trying to explain some of the stuff that happened to you in the UK, and one of them was the lady who mailed out all those weird letters about you guys eating cats.
We had a neighbor, a crazy neighbor, an awful woman, really, really, really awful woman. She was one of our neighbors, and she wrote these really disgusting hate mails. Like she'd write really handwritten notes saying, you're disgusting. You people are disgusting. You eat cats, and you should leave this neighborhood. You should go back to your own country. Yeah. Those were
the irony is that we live in. She died, and we live in her flat now.
Yeah. We bought her flat.
You mentioned she was Mark. You mentioned that she was Filipino.
Oh, there! Revenge is a dish best served cold.
It's the irony, right? It's like
it was so awful though.
Yeah.
You mentioned she was Filipino, right?
No, she's white.
She's white. Oh.
British.
Yeah. Why do you think?
Did you just say, "Hey, we don't eat cat, we eat dog"? Come on.
Should have replied.
Oh no, that's another stereotype. There you go. Terrible.
Why do you think she did that? Like, why do you think people are racist? Why do you think that it's that? Like, looking at that specific example, why do you think she wrote that? Like, did she see Filipinos or Igorots eating cat or something?
Yeah.
Like, from what experience?
Well, no, that was a stereotype.
Right. But like, yeah, exactly. So what are these stereotypes, and why do you think that she acted that way? Like, what makes people be racist?
Well, she, you know, at that time she was living. We had bought the house next door to her, the house below her, and that house on the other side of her. So brown people were around her, and she's seeing the neighborhood change, and you know it's upsetting for her because it's not her people anymore. And she's just reverting to a stereotype that, you know, brown people eat, you know, Chinese people or whatever. She thinks that we're Chinese, obviously, eat cat and stuff. So
cats and dogs.
You know, she's insecure, and she's you know, it's her insecurity and her transience to change that caused her to. I'm just speculating. Caused her to form those opinions and refuse to engage with us. You know, my mom is a very, you know, hospitable person, really, really goes out of her way for her neighbors and does everything. But this woman was really nasty and just, you know, never ever allowed us to reach out to her. And she just was, you know, just when she felt bitter and twisted, she'd send these horrible letters to us.
She's kind of right though. Some Asians do eat cats, and they grow dogs. So,
perhaps the adjectives like "you're disgusting" would never pulled her out.
Right.
I think the racial tension at the time,
this
especially when
this was 91,
the early 90s, it was it was reverse gentrification.
Yeah,
all the brownies were moving in, and then all the whites in this neighborhood were moving to another place called Essex, going further east, further away from the city. And so all the brownies, like the Pakistani, the Indians, black folks, Wendy's family, and some other Igorots were moving into the area. And
it was changing.
For the people who couldn't move out of the area away from the brownies, they stayed, and they were angry. And so they took it out on, you know, because they didn't know who. And it wasn't that they, because like Wendy said, Wendy's mom, their family are very hospitable to anybody out there, and they try to reach out to their neighbors. It was normal. You just in case you need people to help you around. So especially during those times, people are more hospitable. So she would reach out to neighbors, but then she was definitely one of
who didn't want,
the many that
didn't want any help. Didn't want
want
the brown people to help her. That's for sure.
Or didn't want to communicate at all. So she was just